were at my wife's parents' place for, I can't remember, it was like Thanksgiving or something. And her cousin was there with her husband, and they have 2 young kids. One of them's like 5 years old, and he was playing Spyro and just like running around, having a great old time, like as any 5-year-old would in a virtual world, but not really doing much. And so they sat there forever and ever, and the dad kept being like, hey, we gotta go. It's time to go, 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes going to be like, all right, I said 5 minutes, but 5 minutes, we got to go. And then eventually he gets up and he's like, look, I'm sick and tired of watching you run around and accomplish nothing. Let's go.
that line is going to haunt that kid for the rest of his life.
I laughed so hard at
That kid's either going to quit playing video games or a speedrunner is born that day.
Yeah, exactly. We're like,
I'll accomplish
time to buckle down then.
I'll accomplish a world record. You'll see, Dad.
You know what? This is a perfect transition to the next story we got here. Builder Throaty Mumbo.
That's the guy who did the project, yeah.
Okay, deliberately avoided the easy path of a modern microcontroller, doing all the work, and built his own game console.
This is so cool. He's doing it the old school way, because it's not like it's impossible to do it that way. It's just really hard.
So he built and 3D printed his own actual gaming console. That's very cool.
Yeah, and he's doing it like the old way of like making the circuit board and everything, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, so this is proper cartridges with ROMs on a parallel bus, not SD cards pretending to be carts. No modern ports at all, not even VGA. Composite AV output only. Back to the era of RF splitters.
Oof, man, those things were brutal. And then like the more you had in a row, like the thing at the end would be terrible quality because it's going through all of it.
NTSC signal.
Good. Bass.
Outputs over RCA.
PAL
Audio.
is for losers. Just kidding. PAL seems pretty dope.
Basically, the goal, it says here, his next goal is to move to a proper 8 or 16-bit CPU. Very cool. So this guy is basically reliving, and you know what I like is that he's kind of a small channel at the moment. Bigger than us, but not like...
But about like 1,000 subs.
But like
size.
this is a wicked project that someone took on. They're basically experiencing the console wars in their own living room. Like, how awesome is that? Making your own console, like, and then we're like, yeah, we're gonna go to 8 or 16-bit next.
It's super neat. I always thought about movies, like, how come nobody makes movies the old way anymore? Like, you want a movie to feel like it was made in the 80s. You can still get that equipment and use it, right?
It has quite the look to it. It's like a green and black kind of rounded edges.
And this is this is the gaming electronics version of that.
I've gone to the part called Slop Gaming. Got a game called Banana Boat.
You know what? I love Friend Slop. Don't even. Like every time our buddy Chad drops a message in the chat and it's just another trailer for a game that's coming to Steam soon. Up to 4 players cooperatively for $10. I'm in.
I love this.
Like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Look at this screen. When he turns it on and it says insert cartridge, I guess it's just because he had just like a basic interface. How awesome is that?
That's incredible.
Well, old machines, you may remember, did not even turn on when you would not have a game in them. So the fact that this turns on and even has an interface or like, you know, a firmware GUI of some kind, like built into it, is pretty advanced.
Yeah.
And then here's the game he plays. That is certainly slop.
But that's old school slop.
I'm just gonna say that that's still better than a lot of the slop that got an actual official release on the Atari.
Commodore or Atari.
The Atari 2600, man. One time our dad gave me this Atari 2600. It had like almost 30 games. Came in this like wood case with a plastic cover. It kind of looked like an old record player. And he's just like, here you go. And I thought, this is sick. I got a friend over. We bought a bunch of snacks. We were going to have a whole night of retro gaming.
Yeah.
No joke. It was less than an hour before we'd gone through every single one of those games and realized that almost all of them weren't fun. And I totally get the video game crash of 1983 now. Because I was just like, if I had paid $60 for one of these things, I didn't even want to play for more than a couple minutes.
I was excited about that. Very briefly.
Yeah, 60 like 1978 Like that's got to be like $150 nowadays. I would have been so upset.
Like, oh, and I get to just fly down a river.
Great. I totally get why the ET game got buried.
Yeah.
The game was trash.
Yeah, people were just at their breaking point. They're like, we'll kill you. Like, if you don't give us our money back.
It took a whole generation of people who probably would have been gamers, and they're like, nah, these things are lame.
This is trash.
Yeah, you know what? You know who this would be exciting for is like a 5-year-old who barely has motor skills, right? That's not quite.
That was my impression of me as a child.
Back in that era, Norton wasn't just a antivirus slop company. Remember when Norton was a file manager, folks?
No, I don't remember.
The original like Norton Commander was like this sick file manager for PCs, and like it got all of these different clone versions.
And now it's just societal poison.
Well, Norton is. But Norton Commander, like not Norton Antivirus, Norton Commander is now available on the Commodore 64.
Hey!
This is another thing I was saying for years is how come nobody releases stuff for old hardware? And in like the last, about 5-7 years, suddenly we've seen all of these new releases for old hardware. Like, Norton Commander for the Commodore 64. There's been like new NES and Super Nintendo games. There's been some really neat stuff that's been coming out. Like, what was it, like a Rugrats game or something that came out?
Oh, I can't remember. But people are still making games for old consoles. And I actually think that's one of the coolest things that's kind of happened in the last 10 years. You know, like people saying, hey, let's make something for the 386 or let's make something for a Commodore 64. Like, how cool is that?
One of these days, you and I just need to download a bunch of these like homebrew N64 games and just like fire up an emulator, you know, because these are all the new releases. There's only 400 and something officially released games for the N64, but now there's so much more out there, and they're not all great.
Yeah.
But neither was all of the original games that got official releases on the N64.
That's very true.
It's almost like a fringe festival of video games now.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I might get gold, I might get trash, but you know what? It cost me almost nothing. Let's roll the dice. Let's have a good time.
Who frickin' gives a what?
Yeah, you can play Lego Island in a browser.
Speaking of Commodore, you know what's kind of cool too? I added this story to the end there. Retro Recipes, as you may know, a popular Commodore YouTuber, is now the CEO of Commodore after, I believe he purchased all the patents or something. I can't remember how it all went down, but the guy
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
brought the company back to life and is making Commodores again. And they, if I have my information correct, recently acquired the molds to make the 64C again, which is like kind of like the thinner, spread out version of the Commodore 64.
Yeah,
got one in the box back here too, but like it's cool to see all this happening again.
He was showing how like it still has, because it's the original molds, that it has the same like defect where the two plastics like meet, like when it's going through the mold, and like where it cools a bit before it like
Well,
it's
they
so
said
sick.
they can make like 1,000 shells a day using the tooling that they've got their hands on, and like how like freaking awesome is that?
Well, there was a fire at the Commodore factory or something, but I guess if all this stuff was metal, it wouldn't have been that hard to refurbish.
Yeah.
Or if it even needed refurbishment.
Especially like metal dies. I mean, that's heavy duty steel. You're probably not going to burn that in a
like the
standard factory fire.
You know, a standard factory fire will just make the Elvish inscription show up, like the One Ring. Cast it into the fire.
Why shouldn't this be mine?